This reminds me of a joke. The elephant was crossing a small rickety bridge with a mouse on top of him. And as they passed on the bridge, the mouse said, "Boy, we made that bridge sway." Well, I shouldn't be calling Ron Paul an elephant, but compared to him, I'm a mouse. He's the elephant, but I'm honored to be on his back and to consider him a friend. And I have written a book about him. I share very much your views about him and his contribution to liberty. Well, I think Ron Paul, along with Ayn Rand, the two of them are together the two people who have converted more people to libertarianism than any other two people. Ayn Rand wrote a book 50 years ago. It's still selling 100,000 copies. This was 1957, Atlas Shrugged. Ron Paul was Dr. No in the Congress. Ron Paul ran for president 3 times, once on the Libertarian Party and twice on the Republican. And he goes to college campuses and gets 15,000 people to scream and love him, as I do, and I'm sure you do. So I would say he's converted more people to libertarianism than pretty much anyone else, with the possible exception of Ayn Rand. And for that reason alone, he deserves mention. But in addition, he's been remarkably consistent. He's a magnificent theoretician of liberty. He's a magnificent economist. His analysis of the Fed and the problems with the Fed is magnificent. His stuff on foreign policy about getting back to the founding fathers and not exporting democracy all over, whether the people there like it or not. The idea that we have almost 1,000 military bases in 160 countries, and we call this defense. He favors legalization of drugs, legalization of, prostitution, whatever, and ending of the minimum wage law. So he is just magnificent on foreign policy, domestic policy, and personal liberties, and he's converted more people than practically anyone else. So I think if anyone deserves it, it's Ron Paul. Well, Ron Paul not only converted people to libertarianism in the US, but he has fans all around the world. It's the most amazing thing for a politician in the US who was just in Congress, not even in the Senate, but in the House of Representatives, and he didn't win the presidential nomination. And yet he's famous all around the world. There are hundreds, tens of thousands of people in Europe and Asia and Africa that revere this man because of what he's done for liberty. So yes, he had most of his impact in the US. I wouldn't deny that. But he has legs, or I don't know what you want to call it, but he has influence all around the world. So he is a world-class champion of liberty. Well, Ron Paul is magnificent. Liberty is the thing that keeps us civilized. If we didn't have liberty, we'd be very poor, and life would be nasty, poor, and brutish, nasty, and poor, something like that. Like what's his name, Hobbes? I forget the exact words, but Ron is, a civilizing influence. He is a decent man. He's promoting liberty in a way that reaches out to all sorts of people who have any appreciation of liberty.